Matt Walsh just released this tweet that is an absolute bombshell. As you can see on the screen right here, this tweet from Matt Walsh says, "Breaking, I've obtained internal footage of senior officials at the FAA's Flight Program Operations Division, which is responsible for all aspects of aircraft operations, workshopping a plan to reduce the number of white males in aviation." And we have a few clips to go through here from this Matt Walsh tweet. Let's check out the first one, which says, "The footage begins with FAA Acting Deputy Chief Operating Officer," what a title that is, "Angela McCullough, I guess is how you pronounce it, I don't know, saying more workers need to go from ramp to cockpit, meaning she wants to see more baggage handlers become airline pilots." Doesn't that make you feel super safe about flying in a plane next time? That you're the people who are putting bags on the ramps, those are the people who are going to be flying your planes very soon. Let's check out this clip.
And we're looking at that, but we're also looking at really a need across the agency to recruit and retain a diverse population of folks. And as you mentioned earlier, how much that adds to the process. What do you think are some of the key points that we need to remember as we embark on this challenge going forward?
That's a pretty good question. I think one of the things we need to now is that everyone else is embarking on the same thing, right? Just across the system. So competition is going to be it's just going to be really heavy, right? So I think we need to know that. I think it's going to take some creativity. You heard Tim saying he and I had talked about, and we're going to you all is, are there opportunities for any partnerships with universities or trade schools that specialize? We kind of talked about from ramp to cockpit. Is there some things that we would want to look at there?
Imagine being one of these guys, like this guy, this white guy, or this white guy, or this white guy, just absolute cucks, just sitting there, just not saying anything while they're trying to eradicate your race and gender from the airlines. Like, they're trying to eradicate your race and gender from being airline pilots and instead replace them with people who just, anybody but you. Anybody but people who look just like you, even if they're the people who only qualify to put bags on a ramp. Imagine being one of those cucks. Like, I can't imagine being that kind of person. Another tweet from Matt Walsh and another clip from this meeting. As the meeting goes on, McCullough explains or declares that it's important to get a little uncomfortable. She explains that flight operations is white male dominated and tells managers they need to talk about what the future could look like. Let's check out this clip from Matt Walsh as well.
Conversation about kind of what's standing in our way from approaching some of these things differently than we have historically approached them, and just even the internal bias. I mean, particularly in flight ops, your whole program is very heavily male dominated. It just is, and really, it is white male dominated. Let's just say what it is, and so let's be willing. That is today what it is.
Look at these cucks nodding along to this. Look at these absolute cucks, man.
And then let's talk about what could the future look like if we really had this program that was representative of the whole country, right, of the whole world. And sometimes those are challenging or difficult, or I would say people get a little bit uncomfortable talking about that. And like, hey, we're not going to make change unless we get a little bit uncomfortable. And let's be uncomfortable together, and let's do the right things and support each other moving forward. So I don't know if you wanted all that, but you got it, sir.
Do the right things. Do the right things, as in eradicate the white male race and gender from being airline pilots. That's the right thing. Do the right thing, guys. Another tweet from Matt Walsh right after this in follow-up to this. In response, David Will Riggins, the FAA's Vice President of Flight Program Operations, says, "That's great. Honestly, those are some words that we really need to spend some time digging through and thinking about." Matt Walsh also responds to that and says, "This footage, which is from April of 2022, is a sign of a much larger problem. Over the past few weeks, I've heard from several members of the aviation industry who tell me DEI is endangering the public and distracting them from their work." I mean, of course it is. If you're not focused on improving the airline safety, if you're not focused on just maintaining the airline safety, but you're more focused on what races and what genders are involved and what practices of the airlines, and of course this is going to distract people from their work and endanger the public, like Matt Walsh says right there. And what's even scarier about what Matt Walsh has to say in this tweet is that this is from April of 2022. This is over almost 2 years ago. Imagine how much worse it's gotten in those 2 years, because we're just now the mainstream is just now seeing the major effects of this. We've been having a lot more things go viral about certain airline difficulties and things happening with airlines, like planes, doors flying off of planes and emergency landings happening a lot more. Who knows if that's just people noticing these things more because DEI is becoming so popular, or if these things really are happening more often since DEI has become more and more popular, and meetings like this are more focused on race and gender than they are improving airline safety and things like that. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think those incidents are actually becoming more and more common, or do you think they're just going viral more because DEI is becoming so popular and such a hot topic to talk about? We also have a lot more tweets here from Matt Walsh regarding this whole situation. A second source, a pilot I've confirmed works at Delta, tells me Delta has recently promoted a trans-identifying pilot who repeatedly received bad reviews from captains. According to the source, the pilot would likely not have survived probation if he weren't trans. We recently had a transgender pilot repeatedly receive negative reviews during his first year probationary period from captains he flew with regarding attitude, CRM, and judgment. Yet the chief pilot officer, CPO, was unwilling to address the issue. Had this not been a trans pilot, the individual would likely not have successfully completed their probationary period. Coincidentally, the CPO has a management pilot on staff who recently transitioned. Oh my goodness, dude. Who was able to weigh in on these matters. Oh my God. If I were you, I would stay away from airplanes for now. Like, I'm taking a trip to Florida pretty soon. I'm driving the 12 hours, man. I'm not getting in the plane. I'm just not going to do it. I refuse to do it, man. Like, it's just not safe. Matt Walsh follows that up and says, the source also notes that Delta routinely makes exceptions for identifying pilots concerning grooming and behavioral standards. Internally, Delta has even published a lengthy guide for pilots who believe they were born in the wrong body. Helpful steps for transitioning at Delta. There's no way, dude. There's no way that's real. That's a new meme template right there. That's one of the funniest things I've seen today. That's hilarious. Anyway, Matt Walsh follows that up. He also says the industry-wide embrace of overt mental illness afflicts every aspect of aviation. Another source told me that his job is to design advanced military systems, but he's constantly sidetracked by DEI proposals like gender-inclusive seatbelts. We hire college graduates with zero experience who get assigned a project and immediately start pushing this nonsense. For context, I work in a field where my job is to design military systems for the warfighter, and then redacted information there, and I have to deal with new hires pitching me ideas about gender inclusive seatbelts. Companies are made up of two types of individuals: those who eat, sleep, and breathe DEI ESG, the pronoun and their email signature people, and those who keep their mouths shut and do the work. We have affirmation groups, protections, and heritage months for every single type of person except white men. If I don't have at least 2 DEI ESG meetings or trainings per week on my calendar, then the all hands town hall meetings have some sort of DEI baked into the agenda. We constantly have lunches, dinners, happy hours, movie nights, holiday celebrations, all in the name of DEI, led by ESG champions, while the rest of us try to get our work done. We have another tweet from Matt Walsh following that up. Several sources have also sent me documentation about one of the FAA's largest programs called EFAS, which prioritizes Indian tribal-owned corporations and socially economically disadvantaged businesses for billions of dollars in critical grant funding. Dude, this just gets worse and worse, man. It continues to get worse and worse. I don't know if I'll ever feel safe getting in a plane ever again. Another tweet from Matt Walsh. We just have a couple more here. The FAA's master order agreement for EFAS states that certain FAA contracts for dollar amounts between $10,000 and $150,000 are automatically reserved exclusively for socially and economically disadvantaged businesses. And then Matt Walsh ends this off by saying it's only a matter of time until this combination of incompetence and anti-white discrimination leads to a major air disaster. The aviation industry needs a completely new mandate, one that's focused solely on safety before a lot of people die. 100%. I'll go ahead and retweet that because it's true, dude. I'm pretty scared about getting on a plane nowadays until somebody mandates. I mean, who knows who that would be? Like, maybe if Donald Trump got in office again, or any kind of Republican wins with any sort of sense, possibly this could happen. But if a Democrat wins the presidency again, I mean, that's not going to happen, and I just won't be flying for anytime soon, at least. Let's check out some of the quote tweets. Clay Travis says, "This is all crazy. Does anyone with a functional brain care what race their airline pilot is or their doctor? The more serious the job is, the less anything matters but being the absolute best." 100%, dude. I don't care what race they are. I don't care. I just want to get from point A to point B safely. Same thing with a doctor. I just want you to tell me what's wrong with me and, cure my issue. Like, I don't care about anything about your race, gender, none of that. Just get the job done, and that's all that matters to me. But let me know what you guys think in the comments about this Matt Walsh bombshell that he just dropped about the FAA, about all these airlines prioritizing gender and race and things like that instead of safety, and people actually inside of these airlines telling Matt Walsh that this is going to 100% affect safety and endanger the public. Let me know what you're thinking about this whole situation in the comments. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I hope to see you on the next one.